So, sleep world, dreamland, better than the real world. I wonder if anyone out there has ever felt that. I've had these thoughts for many years, and they persist still because when I'm asleep, everything's so free. There's it's it's um, it's like there's a part of the brain. Perhaps it's the ego, I don't know, but I will describe that part of the brain as the part that is afraid. The fear-based mind. Could be the judging as well. But there's a part of the brain that, it's there to protect us, and it sort of just operates off conditioned fear. What that means is just you can't control it. It's fear that just happens when you are in an environment that your body believes you should be afraid, and afraid to protect you. What I mean is your body makes you afraid to protect you, or your mind, that part of your mind does. And I just feel like when I'm asleep, that turns off. When I'm dreaming, it's so free, and I'm really like, I know it's just dreams, but it's just all the interactions that I have in my dreams with the people that I know in the real world. They're so free and flowing and confident and without fear. And as soon as I wake up, and this is another thing, is the breathing. When I'm asleep, the breathing, and this is something I've had my eyes on and been trying to think of for a while, is the when you're asleep, how you breathe slowly, and it's almost like 3 or 4 breaths a minute. Whereas as soon as I wake up, it's this short, quick breaths. Now the short, quick breaths comes from fear. It's can say it's from anxiety, but it's just amazing to me that as soon as I wake up and that part of my brain, let's call it consciousness or the ego, whatever, the part of my brain that's aware and trying to protect me, you know, it just creates the fear creates the anxiety, the breathing starts to get short, and I just feel out of breath, not relaxed. And this drains energy. So imagine spending your entire day like this. So people that have issues um, with energy, and this is clearly because of a huge reason. Energy is really something I think that's drained a lot by our mental state. I've learned this a lot through fighting as well. If you stay calm in the ring, you can keep your energy. Anyway, so the dream world as opposed to this world. And as soon as we wake up, it's almost like our mind has associated life with fear. So you're now in the real world, be afraid. And this is it's very difficult to why people find it very hard to change or break these habits, these, because they're instinctual. They've been ingrained in so like deep in the in your back of your mind, into the body, that it's this is why people like Eckhart Tolle or Muji or all these other spiritual teachers who try to like bypass so many things to just get you to a place of relaxation, they'll say focus on the present. What that does is it just cuts out so much of the mind, and it helps. Of course it helps, but it's a very difficult thing to do because what you're doing is you're going against all this instinctual conditioning. And it takes a lot of practice. And I'm not like, I think it can work for a lot of people, but I believe that it works as part of a bigger package of uh, solutions. I think a bigger part of the package is to work on your environment. Whether it's the city you live, the house, your room, your friends, the food you're eating, um, everything. The music you're listening to, the movies you're listening to, the people that you allow into your life. So important. And I don't mean that just as friends, but it's just the people that you create connections with and start to interact with, and then they're in your world. So it could even be people you've never met that you're just communicating with online. Very critical who you're bringing into your world because especially the I think the older we get, it can become more difficult because we can get more set in our ways, but know that we can always change. Change is always there for us. In fact, we are always changing. Um, it's just that for many of us, that change is manifesting through awareness. So, for example, you might be just as depressed as you were 20 years ago. Really. It's just now you're more aware. So you can see it more and you can see the details of it more. And then you think, oh, I'm more depressed now than I was back then, which might not be the case. It might be that you were this angry, this lonely or whatever, this happy. That you might have been very similar to where you are now. It's just you just weren't as aware of it back then. And this brings us to like this really interesting thing of like awareness, and awareness being linked to fear and anxiety and depression. And this makes a lot of sense because I feel like it's almost a trade. Like nature says, okay, would you like to be more aware of things? You're like, sure, I love awareness. Awareness can only enhance my life, but the reality is that you will see more, you will hear more, you'll see more details. But with that also comes this fear, because now you're going to see more, you know, and when we were kids, did we really were we really that conscious of so much? No, we were focused on just playing with our toys, going to hang out with our friends, what food we're going to eat, just waiting for lunch break at school. We were just focused on things, but you know, we weren't like constantly wondering what people think of us or constant. It was our awareness was a lot, I don't want to say less, but let's say it was a lot more focused on certain things. Whereas now our awareness is, you can argue that it's kind of being spread out onto other things. Okay, so just to like wrap this up, I would say, because the point of these videos is to have some sort of help, right? Like, well, what can we do to help ourselves? I think it's all about trying to gather this awareness and focus it. Okay? Now, for me, it doesn't really help when I hear people say focus on your breathing, focus on your presence, focusing on being here. It doesn't help. That's really difficult to do. Really difficult. Okay? Of course, it's doable, but it's difficult. Not only difficult to do, but difficult to maintain. Okay, because you'll do it, then you'll feel amazing. And when you feel amazing, you just want to get on with your life again. And then guess what? You'll fall into the same traps and habits. And the thing is that in order to recondition your mind, you've got to like keep doing this consistently for at least like 3 months or 6 months. And then you can start to really recondition your mind and get on a different way of living, a different way of seeing things. So gathering your awareness and focusing, I would personally I find that for me it helps when I work on my environment more. So doing things that take my focus, like watching movies that take my focus in a good way, or having activities that take my focus in a good way, not giving my focus to things that will drain me. Okay, so there's just a few thoughts. I'm going to end this video now, and hopefully there's something in there that helps. But yeah, it's all about the mind, and there's so many different parts of the brain. There's like this part that's kind of like the hard drive that's just full of all the things that that you see, that you taste. It's just full of all that stuff. And then there's another part of the mind that's responsible for processing. And it's almost like the way I look at the mind is that it's like, look at it as an ocean. Okay, that's the ocean of data, of information, smells, thoughts, tastes, everything that goes through your gets into your brain through your nose, your mouth, your eyes, your ears, everything. It's just all the data. Yeah, it's like an ocean of data. And then there is this aspect of the mind that is responsible for how you see the world. And it's kind of like the processor of all this info. And the processor is what we need to work on. The processor, if you get hurt, can all of a sudden just be like, boom, and it will start to like focus on different data that's in the mind, like more fearful stuff. So we need to like work on this more. You can work on both sides. Like you can work on the data, like filling your mind with better data, positive data, less negative data, less fearful data. But even if there's like more good stuff in your brain and less bad stuff, you still have to think about how this processing part of your brain, in what kind of shape is it in? What is it doing? Is it, because even if you have 80% good stuff, 20% bad stuff, and this processing part of your brain is leaning towards the bad stuff, it's still going to go towards the negative, the 20% negative, and then it's just going to focus on that, and it's going to enhance that. So we want to like train our minds to like think positively, be more positive, or just be more accepting of the negative. Not see the negative as something to be afraid of. So I'll do more videos. I want to try to like get to a place with these videos where I'm kind of explaining all these things like much more simply, so that we can like focus on simple techniques, to actually help us. But for now, this is just all some brainstorming, and you might be able to figure out through this just your own ways to do things better. I got some loud people here, so I'm going to wrap this up now. Alright, everybody, sending you all just awesome vibes, and we'll make more videos soon.